Hi guys. So next up season previews are Cincinnati Bengals. So we'll start with the coaching staff first, like we usually do. So head coach, you obviously got Zach Taylor. He's been really good as their head coach. He's helped to lead them to the playoffs multiple times, leading the Super Bowl. He's a good head coach. OC, you got Dan Pitcher. He's replacing their own OC. You got head coaching job, but this is his first year as their OC, but he's had been on the Bengals coaching staff for 9 years, so he has been in this team. Like he's been, and this is his second coaching regime because he was there with no head coach. DC got Lou Amarillo. He's been a great DC. Like he's helped the defense a ton. So yeah, you got a good coaching staff. Like you got for sure top 10, probably even top 5, most likely top 5 coaching staff. So yeah, like, you're perfectly fine with that. So now let's go to the depth chart. Quarterback, got a franchise quarterback, top top 7 quarterback in the league for sure. Like Jake Brown had a couple good games, but like your team was not as good once he was out, and it makes sense. Like most teams aren't going to be as good once their starting quarterback, like a franchise guy like Burrow, goes down. Like he only had 2,300 yards, 15 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. He didn't play the whole season. Like yeah, let's see. So he only played 10 games. So that's not the greatest stats, but like the Bengals have been known for the past few years to start. Feels like they usually start off slow, so it's like yeah. So it's like a lot of people are like, just wait till they get more healthy. And obviously Burrow went out, and that didn't happen. But still, you're set there. And then we got Jake Browning. He's a good backup, but he showed he can start a few games, but that's about it. You don't on him starting a ton of games. Yeah, so yeah. Yeah, then Browning, literally one less game played. He had 1,900 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 7 picks. So yeah, like and the Vikings could have definitely used him last year if they he originally got he usually was with the Vikings, but we didn't keep him, and yeah, like that didn't work out exactly the greatest for us. He says his second season, but I thought he's been around longer than that. I just Browning. Yeah, so he's originally could have gone drafted 2019, but it's the second year of this being. It's like I was saying, he's been in the league longer than 2 years. That's what ESPN has. So then behind him, we got Logan on one side and Rocky Lombardi. They're bad. They're not good. They're not good quarterbacks. They're not even good depth. But one side is probably gonna make practice squad. Maybe Lombardi does too. Just so they have a third quarterback. Running back, like it's Zach Moss is good, but he's not. I think he's a in my opinion, he's a downgrade from Joe Mixon, like, and he's new to the offense. So yeah, but Zach Moss is a good running back. Like he did really good when Taylor was out last year for the Colts for them, and like he showed he deserves to be a starter. So that's what he's gonna get here. Behind him, we got Chase Brown. He showed some flashes his rookie year, but he didn't really play a ton because they had Mixon, but it might be more of a 1A 1B running back situation if Brown can get develop a lot more and get better. Just because Moss, for the most part, has never been a number 1 running back for a consistent basis, so it's hard to know if he for sure can do that. Then you get Trayvon Williams and Chris Evans. Like Trayvon Williams is a good third running back, but you don't want him any higher than that. So yeah. So yeah, like very few game like Williams, he didn't get a ton of opportunities, which he shouldn't have, but he's back. Yeah, he had 15 carries for 69 yards and 0 touchdowns. Yeah, I hope like he doesn't get any more touches than that this year. Behind him, you got Chris Evans. I feel like he'll most likely he's. I feel like he'll most likely make the roster because they most teams do carry 4 running backs. But if it wasn't for that, I don't think he would. Like, so yeah, like he was a 6th round pick in 21. He didn't. He played even less than Williams last year. He only had 2 carries. So yeah, I doubt he's not play anymore this year. Then we'll go to wide receiver. You're absolutely loaded. We'll see what happens for T. Higgins, but still, even then, you got Jamar Chase. Like you lost like you still got really good wide receiver room. It's not as good, but like because you lost Tyler Boyd, but that's not a big loss because he was your number 3 wide receiver. So number 1, got Jamar Chase. He's got a college connection for Burrell. He's a great wide receiver. Like say he had over 100 yards. 100 receptions. Excuse me. He had over 1,200 yards and 7 touchdowns. Chase did like that's pretty good, especially since he didn't have Burrow for most of the year, so he had to take. He was getting targets from guy Jake Browning, which he's not. He's okay, but he's obviously not nearly as good as Burrow. Behind him, we got T. Higgins. He didn't do the greatest last year either, but like he is okay. Like once again in that Burrow, like it's kind of hard to judge some of these weapons as much as they didn't have a guy they're so used to. But he still had a decent year. Like yeah, like and then behind them, sounds like their new number 3 is gonna be Andre Isobas, but we'll see because there is a wide receiver 3 battle right going on in their camp right now. So it might happen, it might not. But I kind of talked about this in a news video a couple of days ago, so I can't leave it at that. And then we got Jermaine Burton. He's a rookie. He used to be like really high value when he was at Georgia. Like a lot of people thought he was going to be a 1st round pick, and then he transferred to Bama and he struggled and he just fell off. But he's like you could get a lot better at number 4. Then you got Chinton Irwin and Charlie Jones. Like John Jones showed some flashes last year, so I feel like he'll probably be your number 5, maybe your number 4 if he can beat up or he can go up in that high. Then behind them, the rest of the guys aren't going to make the roster, or probably one or 2 of them, so make the practice squad. Pete Butler, like he might have a chance just because he did really good in the UFL in the spring leagues last 2 years, so he could just like it's hard to know because that obviously isn't the greatest competition, but still. So yeah, next let's go tight end. You added Mike Gesicki. Like they've tried that. Every offseason seems like they signed a new tight end, and honestly, since they keep on doing that, it hasn't worked their greatest. But like, who cares? Like they still have had the great offenses even without a good tight end because they're loaded at wide receiver, so they don't really need a great tight end always, but it still can help. So they hope Gesicki can beat that guy, but he hasn't been the greatest last 2 years with the Dolphins and Patriots. So we'll see. And they got Drew Sample and Tanner Hudson. Like Sample can be a starter at times, so if Gesicki struggles, Sample will probably take over. Hudson, like he's a backup tight end. That's about it. Same with Eric Hall. So now let's go through the defensive line. Like it's kind of hard because like Orlando Brown, ever since he left the Chiefs and Ravens, mainly the Ravens, he hasn't been as good, but he's still a good left tackle. I feel like he might be a little overpaid though, just based off last year. But they're trying to do everything to make sure Burrow has a good offensive line in front of him. So they got a lot of guys recently. And then we got Jackson Carman. Maybe he can develop and get better, but you'll hope he doesn't touch the field because he has not been good. So, yeah. Same with Cochran, Devin Cochran. Go left guard, you got Gardell Wilson. It's another young guy. Like, he's really the only guy that's probably might be able to get better. Like the other guys, I feel like are probably stuck where they are just because they're not that young. So I feel like he was a second round pick. He was a fourth round pick. And it's going to his third year. So hopefully he can get better. Center, you got to take care of. He's a good center. You're fine there. Like it's between him. Hopefully Volson can develop some more and be like a better starter. So then it's been a Karras is your weak point, and like at your offensive line, and like that's a fine weak point. Like you don't care about that, especially with centers, because you can like help around them. Right now we got Trey Hill. He's depth. He's not a good starter if he ever has to start. Nate Gilliam and Matt Lee, developmental guys. They're probably looking to make the roster and might go on practice squad. I'll go to right guard. You got Alex Kappa. He's fine. He hasn't done as great since he left Tampa, but it's like, but he like in Tampa he had some really good guys beside him on the interior or even offensive and tackle. Like he had Ryan Jensen because when he was still there, Ryan Jensen was still healthy. He didn't deal with injuries. And then right next to him, on the other side of him, the tackle, he had Tristan Wirfs. Yeah, so like some pretty good guys to help you. Like, yeah, Cody Ford, another guy you hope doesn't ever have to touch the field, but you never know. Nick Miller, developmental guy. Then you go to right tackle, like you got Trent Brown. He's a good tackle. Problem is he's dealt with a lot of injuries, so there's a reason why you still drafted Marius Rams in the first round. So you hope that he can be a starter if Brown gets injured, because it seems like every year Brown has a new injury. So we'll see. Dante Smith, he's doubtfully not make the roster. They'll probably have him or Cocker on the practice squad just because Brown always has a lot of injuries. I mean, Trent Brown and Brown, sorry. They got two. Both of their starting tackles are Brown. Last name is Brown. So I'm talking about Trent Brown there, not Orlando Brown. That's it for the offense. Let's get done with that. Let's go to their defense. They got a good defensive line, that they get some young developmental guys. It kind of sucks that Cam Sample's done, but he's a huge loss because they did use their last year. They do have a first round pick in Miles Murphy coming this second year. Hopefully he can get some starting time. There's a reason he was drafted that highly. And then as your starters, you got Sam Hubbard and Trey Hendrickson. Those are some really good edge rushers. It's a good 1-2 punch, and then it's not great, but it's fine. And then Hubbard in that playoff game, not this past season before against the Ravens, he had that 99-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown, even if it looked like Mark Andrews got illegal block in the back, so it shouldn't have counted, but still. Then behind them, we got Miles Murphy and Joseph Tsai. Hope Miles Murphy can break out, especially because they don't have Sample for the year. It's kind of the same with the Tsai, because you want to have – it always helps to have a good rotation defensive line just in case somebody goes down or somebody needs a rest, because you can't expect everybody on the defense line to play every single snap. And the rest of the guys behind them, and Cedric Johnson and Jeff Gunter, who cares about them really? They're probably practice guys. One of them probably makes the roster. Then Cam Sample, he's done for the year, so what's the point talking about him? And even if he wasn't, he hopefully was going to be your problem. If someone Murphy breaks down and has a good sophomore year, he's probably your fourth guy, which is fine. Because I'm pretty sure he'd be above Osai. And then at defensive tackles, a good defensive tackle combo, you got Shannon Rinkins and BJ Hill. Those are some good guys, perfect. You can't, BJ Hill's pretty, he's some things you probably be number one defensive tackle, but have him as your number two that's really good, and Rinkins is still good. And behind him, we got a lot of mostly recent draft picks that help develop, and Jay DeFoulet and Zachary Carter. Same the rest of the guys even behind them. You don't really have a ton of young guys starting, but you have a lot of young developmental guys that can be behind him you hope can start soon, like on their most of the roster, just because they are a good team, so they don't really need a ton of young guys to come in, but it still helps to have good young guys. That's how teams stay good for a long time. So with them, like when you're paying your quarterback, because they are in Burrow, you can't. It's hard to keep a good roster around him unless you're good at drafting, because that takes up a lot of cap space. Quarterbacks do. So that's it for their defensive line. Next, let's go to linebacker room. You got a really good two starters in Lewison and Pratt, and then Gaithers or Davis Gaither, McKeem Davis Gaither. He's a good number three. Wilson is a great linebacker, top 10 for sure, if not better than that. Then Jermaine Pratt, like he's a really good guy, a player. Like that's your second linebacker, because I feel like Wilson does play some middle linebacker, but still, like yeah. And like have a guy like Gaither's your third, who on most teams will be their number two. Well, that's pretty good. Behind them, we got Joe Bashy, Devin Harper. They're okay. That's about it. Like they Marvel probably makes the roster just so they have that extra linebacker. The practice squad, same with Shaka Hayward and Aaron Casey. Yeah, they don't really have the greatest depth in that linebacker group. So yeah. So now let's go to their secondary. They have a lot of young guys. Like they've invested a lot in their secondary. Like you got Ken outside of Geno Stone. Outside of Geno Stone, most of these guys are and Mike Hilton. Most of these guys are recent draft picks. So yeah, you got Cam Taylor Britt. He's a good starter. He was a second round pick a couple years ago. He's developed and gotten a lot better. You've got another young guy, DJ Turner. Same thing. I think he's been good for them too. Like yeah. They also got probably one of, if not the best, nickel / slot cornerbacks in the league, which is great. And like, you don't really have to worry about them starting. Then starting safeties, you got a young recent draft pick in Jordan Battle, and then you also got Geno Stone, like two good starters. So we hope with Battle, he's unproven because he's in his second year. But even if he doesn't do great, you got a guy he has proven he can be a good starter at times in Von Bell. So even then. So and then you also get Tyson Anderson. He is all right backup. So then other guys don't make the roster, most likely. So then backup corners got Nate Brooks. He's okay. Like hopefully Dexton Hill can prove that he's better. Like their former first round pick who was a safety, but they've shown that they don't play on safety. And then even if in a battle does struggle, they can always move Dexton Hill back to safety because he was originally drafted as a safety. He wasn't originally drafted as a corner, but a lot of players can switch between. So we'll see what happens there. We hope he is on the depth chart over Brooks once the season starts. And then we also got Jalen Davis, and Alan George, and DJ Ivy. Looks like DJ Ivy's out, so you might not even be playing for a little bit. I don't know what that means. We'll have we look. I doubt they have a ton of news on a guy like Ivy. No offense to him, but he's in the pup list, so that doesn't look good. So you probably won't. He's probably not to be back for. He probably won't be able to play the start of the season. So that's another depth guy that sucks to lose because you don't have it. You got a lot of young developmental guys, so you never know how good they'll do. So we'll see. Then you also got Josh Newton. He's another recent draft pick, wasn't he? Yeah, he was a fifth round pick. He's on fine way to make the roster. Like, yeah. So he was a decent corner out TCU. He's another young developmental guy. Like they got a lot of young developmental guys. I hope they will get better and help out this team in the future. So that's it for the defense. Next, let's go to special teams. So, kicker, you got him in McPherson. He had a great rookie year. He was huge for them in his playoffs. Then he struggled last year, but it's weird with kickers. Like it's not a mentality thing. So hopefully he can bounce back. Like just hope he can look back on his rookie year in the playoffs and like, hey, I can still do this. Just forget about some last year we struggled a little bit. Just keep on moving forward. Punter, we got Brad Robbins. We just got a three-way punter battle by accident. I feel like Robbins will probably win it because they drafted him last year, didn't they? I'm pretty sure they. So he was a 6th round pick. So like they have invested in him. He was only a 6th round pick, but still, like so he'll have the advantage there. And if he doesn't win it somehow, he'll probably get picked up somewhere else to be their new punter. So then we'll go to returners. We've got Charlie Jones and Trayvon Williams. They're okay returners, but it's not the hugest deal. We'll see what happens to Trayvon Williams because there is a new kick return rule, kickoff rule. So like some teams are practicing with like some of their star players on the kickoffs. So we'll see if that's what happens. And like, but it's okay. Then you got Cal Dumas as your long snapper. Okay, who cares? Is a long snapper. Now let's go to the schedule. Week 1, you got a game you for sure should win. Like if you lose this one to Patriots, that's not looking very good. Because they got a little better. Like they got hopefully their future franchise quarterback and Drake May, but he probably won't even be starting Week 1 because they got Jacoby Brissett, who's shown flash he can be a good starter, but still he's still not a good one. You're not a great one. He's sick. Then you got the Chiefs. I feel like you're probably not lose that one because in Arrowhead. Like that's a really tough place to travel to, and Chiefs are just a good team. Like there's a reason they're 2-time defending Super Bowl champs, and why some people think they might be able to win 3 times in a row, but for first time in Super Bowl history. Then next 2 weeks you got 2 easily winnable games. Like these 2 teams have 2 young quarterbacks, so they could have great years, but I doubt it, especially this early in the year. They'll probably struggle a little bit early on. You got the Ravens. I feel like they're on a split series with the Ravens. They'll probably win this one just because it is in Cincinnati. Because, yeah. You got the Giants and then at the Browns. They should be able to win. They definitely should beat the Giants. They'll probably beat the Browns. Probably beat another close one. There's a decent chance they'll split series. Like the AFC North, once again, so it'll be really tough. Like it has been for years. They'll probably sweep the Browns. Got the Eagles. They probably win that one, but it should be another good game. Should beat the Raiders. They're probably going to lose this Ravens one because it is in Baltimore. Baltimore's another tough place to travel to. Got the Chargers. Another should be win. Got a bye week. You should definitely beat the Steelers, especially if a bye week. Like they're probably not if they're not sweeping any of their division rivals. I feel like the most likely one is the Steelers out of the 3. Cowboys, and they probably will beat Dallas, but it's hard to say because who knows what's going to happen. Contract situation with Parsons, CeeDee Lamb, and Dak. So who knows? But they probably are not. They might lose that one because it's in Dallas. Tennessee, winnable one. They should win that one. Cleveland, they definitely should win this one, especially at home. Get the Broncos. Against the Broncos, it's in Cincy. So they definitely should win that one. They might lose the Steelers just because the Steelers, they aren't a great team, but like they're still good. And Mike Tomlin, he's never, as long as he's their head coach, he's never gonna let them have a losing record. So like if it comes down to week 18 to see if they have like an 8 record, let's say, I feel like they'll probably win it. And who knows with the Bengals because at this point they might have their playoff seed locked up, so they might not be playing a lot of their starters to rest them for the playoffs because like these playoff contenders, it's kind of tough because like as it gets later in the season, with like the Super Bowl contenders, which I think the Bengals are, like they assuming that Burrows gets healthy and all season. Yeah. It should be a good team. Like they should, they'll probably be at least one playoff game. It's just tough because the AFC is really good this year, and they have a lot of good teams. Like they got the Chiefs, got the Bengals. Like we're talking about right now. It's the Bills, like they might struggle at the start of the year because they have a lot of change their wide receiver, but they should still be good. They got the Texans, another good team. Like yeah, and the Ravens obviously, but we're in their own division. Like those are just the top five teams I can think of probably in AFC, but still like a lot of things can change. But all right, guys, thanks for listening. Have a good one.